If you want to dazzle mom this Mother's Day, why not think outside the box? Sure, we all know flowers are pretty, but they don't last. Well, this certainly will. Create a dream kitchen where every pan, can, crock pot, and spice jar has its own place. Or a bathroom cabinet that mom's not going to be embarrassed to have her guests snoop through. Michael Saunders can make the magic happen with Shelf Genie of Columbus. So good to see you as always, Michael.
Oh, it's always great to be here, Robin.
So we're talking about the moms this week, right? Mother's Day a few days away. First, I want you to tell me, what are some of the biggest complaints that you get from the moms out there when it comes to their storages issues?
You know, the biggest complaints are accessibility. We got a lot of people who can't get down and get to that little half shelf in the back of their cabinet. More space. You got a lot of people, you know, recently we've dealt with a lot of condos. People have downsized into smaller spaces and just people wanting to get organized. They have no clue what they've got in the back of that pantry. They want to know what's back there.
And the thing about space is that you can create much more. So even though they feel like they lost space, you create more.
We create more space, and the thing about our space is it's all usable space.
Right. Okay, so Shelf Genie 2, what you talk about and what we always talk about is how customizable you are. So you mentioned a condo, you know, it could be a $300,000 house, even more, whatever you're doing, you're going to utilize that space and make it custom to the homeowner.
Absolutely. When we walk into a space, we're not looking at, oh yeah, I've seen a kitchen like this, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We don't do that. It's show us what you're having a problem with. Show us what your issue is so we can solve your problem, your issue.
And most moms, I know, myself included, right? We don't like clutter, but it always seems to find us. So pantries are probably the worst when it comes to this. So what are some of your popular solutions for the pantry?
Our popular solutions for a pantry is most of the pantries we're walking into are that wire shelving.
Yep.
The first thing that people hate about the wire shelving is everything falls over because it goes in between the wires and it's just falling all over the place. It's all evenly spaced, so they start stacking things up. As soon as they start stacking stuff, they have no clue what's in the back of that shelf. Plus, the wire shelving is usually not the full depth of the pantry.
Right, it's about half of
exactly.
it, yeah.
So we come in, we make full depth shelves that pull all the way out. We look at what you're going to put on that shelf and we crunch all of that vertical space up. Once we crunch that space up, we're adding more shelving in there. So we're adding space. It's usable space that they can use. They can see exactly what's on the back of that shelf as easy as they can see what's on the front.
And just looking at some of these after photos of what you have done with a simple pantry, I mean, looking at the number of shelves, 7, 8 shelves in one pantry,
Absolutely.
When you think about it, I mean, that's fitting twice as much stuff, at least, than you've had in there before. So now when I go to, you know, the bulk store, usually I say, well, I don't have room to fit any of it anywhere. Now you do.
Yes, you do. And the great thing about it is when you do go shopping, what's going to happen is everything's going to find its place on those shelves. When you go shopping, you pull the shelf out, you see an empty spot, you know what was there, you know what you need, you have an exact shopping list of what you need, you're not buying stuff that you already have.
Right.
You're saving money at the store.
My husband would be thrilled,
Yes.
sure, yeah.
And also you're not throwing half of the stuff away because it expires.
It expires, exactly. What I want to make sure people realize too is when you talk about the pots and pans and things like that, these are sturdy shelves. They're not like a flimsy piece of board that are going to pull out and you know, things fall through. No,
our shelves hold 100 pounds when fully extended. So there's usually nothing in a kitchen we have to worry about that weight. You can fill one with all canned goods. Think of 100 pounds, that's 100 cans.
Right. Hey, if you want 100 cans, you can fit them. That's what
Absolutely.
you're trying to say.
You know, KitchenAid mixers and things like that. We can fit all that on the shelf and the shelf will hold it.
Okay, and the other thing that, since we just mentioned the pots, the pans, things like that, you have solutions for that, and a lot of these, which we're looking at these photos, just make them, I mean, not only do they look great, but accessibility is big.
Yeah, I mean, right now, everybody's storing their stuff on a flat static shelf. So what do? You start to stack things up. So even if I make it pull out, you still have a stack of 5 skillets. You got to pick 5 things up to get to one. When you're dealing with pull-out shelving, we start to take the things that are stored flat and we turn them vertical so that when you pull the shelf out, you grab the one thing you need and not have to pick 5 things up to get to one.
And Michael, I just want to quickly mention you do all kinds of rooms, even bathrooms under the sink and things like that. So give, Shelf Genie a call. See what they can do for you. And you do an in-home consultation.
Yes, we do. And that's a free process for us to come out, walk through your space, identify your issues with you, and do a solution. That's no obligation, free process for us to do that.
All right, Michael, phone number and website up on screen. Thank you, as always, for being here.
Thanks for having me.